Bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Yo soy Gabriel Salcedo y este es otro capítulo de Simplemente Vino. Hello everyone, this is the first episode in English. So, forgive my English. Nah. You love it. You love my accent, I know. So today, here we are in Simplemente Vino. And here we are with Sampara, a good friend of mine who works in Oregon. Sampara is Mexican American. He lives in Oregon. He's gonna tell us for how long so far, and he owns the brand Para Wine Co. Welcome, Sam. How are you? How you doing today?
Good, Gabriel. Thanks for having me on this show, on the podcast.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. A podcast show. We are one of the first ones to be on Spotify with the video too. So I consider this a show. And now we're gonna start. I think from this week we're gonna have everyone on YouTube too. So because that's been from a couple people's being asked a lot. People enjoy YouTube a lot, so we'll be there.
Hey, I'm glad I shaved this morning.
There you go. You look great. So Sam, I'm gonna start with two questions, and then we're just gonna go for small interview. This before, if you were a grape, which grape or which kind of wine will you be? Let me know.
For the grape, as far as the varietal, I would have to pick Pinot Noir. Not just because I'm in the Willamette Valley, having the Pinot Noir being dominated here, planted, but Pinot Noir is very food versatile.
You drink it with, it can be anyone from history or some people even say sometimes in the future. They like, I would love to drink this in the future. I'm okay. It's your fantasy. We open to any answer.
Well, for myself, more because on my paternal side, on the Parra side of the family, because I did not start my company. That would be before I started my company after my grandfather passed away. My grandfather, Samuel Parra, may he rest in peace. And my middle name is Samuel, named after him. Wow. So yeah, I would have loved to share my craft with him, but he passed not so long ago, but he passed years ago.
Okay, that sounds amazing. And where will you drink it? There in Oregon or in Napa, where your family's from?
I would have it at a fine restaurant in Morelia, Michoacan.
There you go. That sounds great. Which one of your wines? Because I'm pretty sure it will be what the which one you have right there. Let me see the bottle.
I'm showing the Tempranillo. Showing the Tempranillo, but for Morelia, the specific restaurants I was thinking about would be my Alvareño.
Delicious. Yeah.
Because I would plan to have it with a lot of good mariscos or seafood dishes.
We were talking with Luca Balota. Say hi to Luca in Cozumel. We were talking about the Alvareño, how great it is with pairing with Mexican food. So if you missed the episode, you can right here and you can read it now and click and go to that episode too. So Sam, how you end up in Oregon? I mean, it's you live your life as I understand in Napa. You work in wine, you love wine, and you move from an amazing area to a another great area in Oregon, which probably here in the United States the past 5 years has been a huge boom of with Pinots, and everybody's talking about how you end up there. Let us know.
Yeah, well, not to mention too the affordability of Oregon versus
taxes. There you go.
versus California, and especially the Bay Area. But no, my lineage history goes a ways back here in the area. My first winery job in Napa Valley was in Stag's Leap District, was Pine Ridge Winery.
Right.
This is back when I turned 2021, back in 1999.
Mhm.
I got to visit Oregon because they founded, the owner, Gary Andrus, founded a winery up here in the AVA, known as the Dundee Hills, known called Archery Summit.
Oh,
And so he would bring us twice a year because there's two big open house traditions here in Oregon. One is a Memorial Day weekend. The other one is Thanksgiving weekend, where when wineries used to be a lot smaller back then, they were not able to open year round because a lot of the times, a lot of the family-owned wineries, they actually had another job, and then they were starting their wine brands as their passion. So they would have basically just open houses throughout the year. But again, the really popular ones here in Oregon, or through different parts of Oregon, not just the Willamette Valley,
right.
um, is a Memorial Day and Thanksgiving weekend. So I first got to visit because Pine Ridge brought us to assist for special events
Oh,
here in
okay.
Oregon. So I got to visit back then, and it reminded me so much of Mendocino County, where things are a bit more spread out,
Right.
being a way larger area than the county I was born and raised in, Napa Valley, Napa County, being one of
Right.
the smallest in California. And
Mendocino for the people that is listening or watching this is like on top of Napa, more close to the coast. We'll say like more like in
north of
Sonoma,
Sonoma.
Hillsburg
Yeah.
area. If you want to check the map, it's usually very hot. It's very popular for they plant all their stuff there too, and
Yeah.
it's very hot, but I'm pretty sure it has like cold nights, and that helps a lot with in the summer, at least at the end of the summer, to make those grapes get to the level of sugar they need.
Yeah,
It's a beautiful
Mendocino,
area.
yeah, Mendocino is so diverse because you go inland to Hopland or Ukiah or Redwood Valley and it's really hot,
Yeah,
but you go out closer to the coast to the valley known as Anderson Valley,
right.
and it's a very narrow valley, and it gets a lot of the influence on the coast. So that's why there you see Riesling, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and then the winery source the thicker skin grapes out from Hopland and Mendocino, being Syrah or Grenache or
Right.
Petit Syrah, Zinfandel. So
What a
it's a very
beautiful area.
diverse. It's
Yeah.
a very diverse county, but it's a very spread out large county.
At least here
So
in San Francisco, you get a lot of the Anderson Valley, wines. It's like it's popular, it's well known, and I'll say wines are between from 15 and up. They're not that inexpensive, so it's a good area to explore. Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
But back to your wines, you now working with three different grapes. How you start? Which one was the first? The Tempranillo?
So I started in 2018 with 3 wines. I started with a Viognier, a Rosé of Tempranillo, and then also a dessert wine made of Riesling, Pinot Gris, and Gewürztraminer.
Oh,
But since you ask about the Tempranillo, um, I in 2018 I produced 150 cases, and in 2019 I grew to 3 wines, 200 cases, including what you asked, the Tempranillo,
mhm.
and I made a rosé of Tempranillo, and I made my dessert wine again, and then the jump happened for 2020, 7 wines, 500 cases,
Wow.
including including Alvarinho, and then the rosé of Pinot and Tempranillo, Gamay Pinot Noir blend, 2 Syrahs, one Syrah being from where I live is Dallas, Oregon. The AVA here is called the Van Duzer Corridor. So it's a cool climate Syrah. It's not, we're not really far from the coast here, by the
What
way.
what do we get? What do we get in cool climate, Sierra? We get more like earthy.
Much more earthy. You're gonna have a lot more bright acidity, more flavors of raspberry,
Right.
hibiscus, pomegranate versus my Syrah of Southern Oregon of Rogue Valley.
Right.
That's going to be more blueberry, blackberry, or darker fruits. So away from the two Syrahs, and the Gamay Pinot blend I mentioned
Right.
also was my dessert wine. And then a Tempranillo from Zenith Vineyard. And I also did a wine called Consulta, which in Spanish is a consultation, either with a doctor or a therapist. So I tell people that the wine is your therapy in a glass, your therapy in a glass is your session. Consulta is Tempranillo from two growers from Haviland, where I get my Syrah,
Right.
and from Zenith Vineyard, what I have displaying here. And it also, the grower in Dallas, Oregon was crazy enough to plant Tinta Cow. And I
Wow.
was crazier enough to buy it from him
Right. Right.
because it's a very thick skinned grape that should not be planted here. It should be more in Southern Oregon or California or obviously Portugal. But again,
Yeah, they use those more for blends, I believe, because the color, probably, and just,
in Portugal and the Douro Valley, they make it. It's one of the varietals for port. But I have tried it on my travels to Portugal. I've tried it as a still wine, and it's delicious.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, all those,
Yeah.
well, for the people that like tannins, like thick screen grapes usually give you that
Yeah.
taste that reminds you your first glass of wine back in the day, very
Yeah.
strong. And um so on all this process, which I'm curious, because you work with so many different varieties and different climates. Which grape is your favorite to work with, and which one gives you more trouble? Because we all know there's grapes that, well, no, we all know, but a lot of people that work in this, we know, when you work with them. I remember La Crema, they're, the Pinots with like thin skin. Sometimes you're like, oh, this will be much easier, but no, because, sometimes in the press, like you get like a lot of juice right away, and then you need to control that in a second. But yeah, has pros and cons. So in your case, which grapes do you like to work with?
As far as for 2020 and for 2021, when I had more growth as well, it would be Albarino or Riesling, because for these grapes, I make in such minimal amount, Gabriel, where I own Marquisio tanks. It's the shorter tanks of 500 liters. They don't have a jacket, by the way.
Right.
Those are the larger tanks. So basically for the Riesling and Albarino, it's a matter of pressing the grape,
That's it.
you press and then getting it first in a flex tank, let it settle for a day,
Right.
and then you transfer that into the Marquisio, the small stainless steel tank.
Right.
And where I'm at, we're actually we're very lucky of spontaneous fermentations.
Oh,
So
wow.
we put the Riesling, like the Riesling was put inside and let it ferment and do its thing, and
That's
just test
beautiful.
it for, make sure it's still healthy, make sure it doesn't need any additions or nutrients as it's going.
Right.
But then at the very end, once primary fermentation is complete, you move the wine again, either to an IBC cube or a tank, and then I actually make the addition of bentonite, and
Right.
then the tank goes outside of the building, Gabriel,
Right.
because in Oregon, after the primary fermentation, here comes November,
Right.
and I leave the tank outside of the building. There's one side of the building of the co-op where we're at, where it's
Right.
shaded. It's shaded all day long, Gabriel. There's no sun. But in November, the big shift in Oregon is how much cooler it gets. So
Right.
it's not just me, it's others making wine at the co-op that move their tanks on that side of the building outside, because you let Mother Nature do the work. It's cold naturally. I make the small addition of bentonite ahead of time, because that way it starts to gather everything as far as the tartaric acid, or
Right.
everything begins to drop with weight. So that would be the easiest one.
Mhm,
The one that I've learned so far that was more sluggish, a
mhm,
bit more problematic at
mhm.
harvest was Gamay Noir.
Oh, wow.
Uh,
All right.
as a red varietal, that's been the most troublesome for myself, where I actually had to go buy a small heating plate to drop into the tea-bin
Right, right.
to assist fermentation. It wasn't problematic as having anything off with the wine
Isn't
as far
it
as
isn't it Gamay well known to gives you a lot of grapes and maybe a lot of leaves, and then you have to like sort of clean it a little bit during the process of growing the grapes. That's my
good
yeah.
good thing we have these stemmers for that
Right,
to help
right.
us move that.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people are I heard that's being a trouble with that. But delicious. I love Gamay. I mean, if you tell me I'm in between Pinot and Gamay, just delicious grape. I'm happy you guys have all of those there. Which where do you think it's the next project for you? Are you working in a new grape? You working in new getting grapes from new places? Because global warming is real, and everybody's making decisions for the future. I'm just wondering where you stand up right now.
Good question. I'm adding a Bordeaux blend of Columbia Valley, Washington.
Good, good. That
Yeah,
sounds
it's gonna be
promising.
uh it, it's gonna be in my second label. The wine that I sent you, the one that has a toro and the matador.
Right.
My second label wines will be more from areas versus the P logo. I get permission from the grower
Right.
versus the toro and the matador will be from larger AVAs,
Mhm.
not necessarily. So, anyways, I'm expanding to a Bordeaux blend of Columbia Valley.
Oh, great. Any other projects you have? Anything that you'll say it's like a new thing for you because you've been doing a lot. And
Yeah,
before we go, I want you to tell me a little bit about how involved you are with the Latino community in there. You've been doing a great job. I know you so far probably for 2 years, and you're always helping people to get know more the area, and Latinos growing there, growing grapes there, and making wine. So
yeah.
I would love to know about that.
Oh no, of course. So a nonprofit I've been involved with from the beginning. It's AIVOY. It's Asociación Hispana de la Industria de Oregón y Vinocola y Comunidad. So we are fundraising and we're mentoring Latino vineyard workers, which we phrase to empower them. We like to say vineyard stewards. And it is a pilot non-credit program through Shemeketa. Shemeketa is a city college where you can earn an AS or AA. It's based out of Salem in the capital. And so where we're showing more of companies where some may have, very strong skills in agriculture, but they may not be so passionate of the actual product that ends up in the bottle. Some just by not knowing, they don't know from when the grapes are delivered to the winery
Mhm.
what takes place next. What they don't know, some don't know what is winemaking
Right.
and everything else that happens afterwards. Where
Yeah.
big
Cool.
important part is
It
a
can
big
get
important part is the making side. Yeah, a big important part is the making side, but the really important part as well is you have to move your wine. You have so much competition out there, so they're really learning about the finance side,
right.
marketing,
So
it
important.
because yeah, because Shemeketa,
Distribution, put it on the right place.
yeah,
Nowadays, you have to
yeah,
work with social media no matter what. And you're good
exactly.
at that. Like you get articles on Forbes and like different places. So yeah, you should be teaching those classes, man.
I I sure go there to help out, translate, and also if you follow our handle is Ahivoy,
Okay, it's gonna be
Ahivoy
right here.
Oregon.
We're gonna put it right here.
Yeah, I between myself and two other members of the nonprofit,
Right.
we do tackle the responsibility of social media, but
Good for you.
the most recent postings of the student bios that you'll see, those have been done by me. I go there in the morning, interview them, and then just stick around more in the morning to see what's taking place in the program. Usually by lunch, I have to leave because I have a sales route planned out for the day.
Right.
So
Right. And so with the Latinos you work with on these programs, do you see any bright future? Or how's the community growing? I'm pretty sure the pandemic affects everyone and all the nice things you were doing before. I want to know, like, what's your take on the future of the Latino
yeah,
side in there?
yeah, this program definitely takes more on the positive side for companies. This program is a form of retention because once the students learn more about what they do, they gain more of the passion, more even of just the culture in general, what the wine business have become. And this is really important, and especially right now, Gabriel, because the main thing that not just with global warming, with climate change, but the big thing too right now is the labor shortage.
Oh,
So
everywhere.
for example, say a vineyard steward, say they're making between 14 and 18 an hour, just as an example, okay?
Yeah.
That this happened years ago when cannabis was legalized in the state of Oregon.
Right.
Many many vineyard workers
Oh,
from this area alone,
yeah.
some of them even moved 3.5 hours away to Ashland and Medford area
Oh, yeah.
because they were making twice the amount per hour working at a cannabis farm versus working at vineyards up north here, or even some that were already working in wineries in Ashland, Medford area. They were transitioning over to cannabis farms. And who's to blame them? Because they have the skill of agriculture, and they left the wine business behind because again, they need the agriculture, but some of them lack the passion of what's inside the bottle,
Right.
because I don't think any employees thought about a retention program. And many companies agree and support Ivoy, how this is a way to empower
Right.
the vineyard stewards, a huge retention program for any company out there,
Mhm.
and also to promote growth within the company. You know, some of them, well, we do pay attention to what companies expect of them attending the program, and some of them are seeking better pay,
Yeah.
better wages,
Yeah. In a
and
good company,
promotions between the
exactly. In
company.
a good company, you
Yeah,
can have a career,
yeah, yeah.
and
So
then if you trade, because what happened right now with the cannabis is that there's too much. There's too many companies. Competition goes really
yeah,
high, so people is not getting paid. A lot of people is not getting paid. That's what I heard. Um, because they said like yeah, you did the work, but I haven't sold yet all this.
yeah,
So you're gonna get paid next month, for example. But from the golden era before that, you get cash and it was fun, and people from all around the world came and visit, and people was helping the business. That's kind of
yeah,
over. So this is what you're doing. It's smart in terms for them to like to understand that you can make a career in the wine industry. In the wine industry,
yeah,
it's so big, it has so many areas that you just learn one good thing, but you can then explore other things for the rest of your life. You can be a sommelier, you can work in sales, you can just have a podcast, you can do you can make
yeah,
wine,
yeah,
sales rep. There's so many areas that you can become a wine teacher. There's many programs there.
yeah.
So I'm
Or you
super
can just
happy
or you can just be
that
like
you
me
do.
and try to expect to sell the Yes Way rosé shirt.
There you go. Yeah, why not? But
I do have another shirt coming out, by the way, another wine pun shirt.
oh, really? Okay.
So you'll see that down the road.
We'll have all the
Yeah,
information right here in the
yeah,
description. You should definitely go check his website and his social media. It's Sam is always doing lives and fun stuff. The last question I was gonna ask you before we go is do you work with other wine growers and wine companies that are Latinos too, right? You guys do other stuff together. How's that? Who you work
yeah,
with?
yeah, exactly. Yes. So both on the sourcing side in 2021, I added Riesling as a wine, and
Mhm.
the vineyard owner is a Mexican descent.
No.
But also in affiliation with other Latino brands, we started this 2 years ago. It's called Celebrating Hispanic Roots, and it goes from September 15th through October 15th of Latin hair.
September 15th because it's my birthday. That's why you start
There you
here.
go. Exactly.
Isn't it
Exactly. It's
Mexico's birthday? I mean, independence. I think Salvador, Guatemala. I think a lot of countries got their
yeah.
independence on
And it's also, well, it's also Latino Heritage Month,
Heritage
happens to
Month.
be
Yeah,
September
September. Yeah.
September 15th through October 15th.
Mhm.
So what it is, it's an alliance of Latino brands where we well, 2020 was a bit challenged with COVID, but we actually had an in-person event in 2021.
Mm.
It was it was in two different set times where people again were attend in person, and we sold out of the event.
Wow. And you think you're gonna have an event this year?
We're doing the meetings right now as far as who's going to take lead this year,
Right.
what we can come up with. Maybe as far as smaller individual events like winemaker dinners where we all act individually, but
Right.
maybe also an event where we're all there. But we're just beginning to plan it again.
Thank you, Sam. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm gonna leave all the information so you can follow him on which what's your Instagram account?
Uh, my handle at Barra Wine Co.
Okay, great. So
Yeah.
they can follow you there. Anything else like
Yes.
you? Okay, perfect.
I have Facebook, Barra Wine Co. as well.
Awesome. You see, as easy as that. Parra. You know, he
Yeah.
can have a better name
Barra
than that to work in the wine industry.
Barra barrawineco.com is the website as well.
You think if you have a different last name, you will work in a different business? Because
I
Parra.
think I would.
I'm
Yeah,
just
right.
joking. I'm just joking.
A lot of folks don't know that yeah, Barra in
Oh,
some countries means vine.
yeah. Parra means vine. That's inside Latino joke right here. Guys, this is another episode of Simplemente Vino. Thanks for stay all the way here. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We need you. Okay, bye. See you next
Adios.
time. Adios.
Bye.